Welcome to episode 52 of the Arctic Crafts podcast. My name is Bente and I'm coming to you from Vesterålen, northern Norway, where I live with my husband and 3 cats. You can find me on Instagram as Arctic Crafts, on Facebook and Etsy as Arctic Crafts by Bente, and on Ravelry as Arctic Crafts 65. I also have a Ko-fi page if you wish to support the podcast with money for shipping out prices and equipment for the podcast. And I also have a group on Ravelry for make-alongs and show notes. We've had a nice Easter break. I haven't dyed any yarn during Easter, so the shop update on Sunday won't be a big one, and that's also something we're going to talk about at the end of the episode. But as you saw in the beginning, I started this episode with a short vlog from Easter. We had a nice Easter, we had loads of nice weather, and my son had to wait an extra day before he went home because the day he was supposed to go home, the weather was so bad enough for the ferries to be cancelled, so we had him here for 24 hours extra, not complaining. But one dye day vanished because he stayed an extra day, so I only had one dye day since the last time I podcasted. And not much more to say about Easter. We stayed at home. We didn't go anywhere, and the authorities also told us if possible stay at home during Easter. So that's what we did. Well, hello there. This is future editing Bente, and I realized while I was editing I said something at the beginning about talking about the make-alongs later, and then I never did. So here goes. We have a running make-along called the Red, White and Blue make-along, and so called because Norway's flag is red, white and blue, and the deadline for the make-along is Norway's Constitution Day, May 17th. The rules are really simple. You can knit or crochet or sew or embroider anything you want. The only thing I ask is that at least 2 of the colors red, white and blue are in your finished object, and if you manage to have all 3, you get an extra entry. And that's all I have to say about that, and now I'll just leave you with past Bente. But this is a knitting podcast, so we could start with talking about what I'm wearing. I'm wearing my Sugar Maple by Carina Spencer. It's knit with a cotton acrylic blend that I commercial yarn, and it goes down into a point at the front, and it's straight in the back. And yes, I'm wearing pajama pants. One of the benefits with the working from home. I don't have to wear my big girl pants. So that was what I'm wearing. And it's t-shirt weather, at least indoors, because of what I mentioned before. This is practically a greenhouse and the sun is out, so it's hot in here. I have only one FO and one HO to show you. And the FO is a pair of socks. And these are the Unity socks by, let me check, Niina Tanskanen, and they're from the book 52 Weeks of Socks. And while we're talking about that, I can show you the book. I forgot to tell you. These are knit with a yarn from Knitty and Color. and was a D-stash from my friend Sue in Canada. So those are my FOs, and I could have talked about this in show and tell, but because I knit a pair of socks from the book, I thought I could tell you about. I jumped on the bandwagon and got this book, The 52 Weeks of Socks. And there's a lot of beautiful socks in here in all different weights. And between this book and the 2 subscriptions that's been gifted to me, because my friend Dora in Tennessee gifted me Helen Stewart's Sock Society, and my friend Sue gifted me Rye Flower Knits Night at the Movies Sock Club, so I have enough sock patterns to last me a lifetime. That doesn't mean I'm not buying any new sock patterns, of course. But over to the hoe. These socks, I'm knitting these socks for Sue because she loves bees, and this pattern is called the Wild Bees Socks. And they're not on the sock blocker for the reason that I wanted you to see the pattern properly, because the pattern runs all the way down the front of the foot. And for once I'm actually knitting a pattern the way it's, I'm not using my own special heel recipe or anything like that. I'm using Helen Stewart's pattern for everything. So this is the finished sock, and this is how far I've gotten on the second sock. So not a lot. This yarn, by the way, is Regia's Merino Yak, and the colorway is 07504. So that's the, and I love this yarn. I just ordered 2 more balls of this yarn. The next socks I'm knitting, I'm going to knit on a 2.5mm needle. This is knit on 2.25, as I did on the previous socks I knit with this yarn. But this is practically bulletproof, so I can get away with knitting the socks on 2.5mm needles, and that means I can go down from my usual 64 stitches to 60 stitches. And the socks will go just little bit faster. So that is what I have finished. And even though it doesn't look like it, I've done a lot of knitting, but I only have whips to show for it. For the time being, I only have the whips to show for it. And we can start with what's in front of me, which also is a hoe of sorts. I haven't woven in the ends. And these are the Soul Sister socks. The pattern is written for toe up, but and I've knit them before, toe up, but this time I'm knitting them top down. And the yarn I'm using for these is Lucky Dip and Mix from Kate Celine. As you perhaps know, I have an extra set of Lucky Dip and Mix from Kate Celine in my price box, so that will be a price in a future make-along. So that I haven't cast on the second sock yet because I have other things to knit on. Let's see. I've been knitting on my Night Forest by Casapinka, and this is knit in Drops Flora. And this is a non-superwash wool alpaca blend. And I've gotten quite some work done on this since you last saw it. I finished the body. And as usual, as soon as I spent what feels like weeks knitting this part, but as soon as I got down to the patterned part, I finished the body in a night, in an evening. And that's typical because this is the fun part. And I've started the first sleeve. And that also has patterning at the bottom. But then I got something in the mail. And this is not part of show and tell because I can put in a picture of what it looks like when it arrived in the mail. Because I was waiting for this yarn because I had a particular project in mind and we're having sort of an unofficial knit along in a group of friends on Instagram. We're knitting the V-back tee by Jamie Hoffman. The yarn is a mini skein set from Beehive Yarns. It's called Ostara and it's 10 20 gram minis. And this is Beehive Yarns card. And I'm really excited because hubby said he would buy me a yarny advent calendar as a Christmas present. And I snagged one of her advent calendars. So I have a Beehive Yarns advent calendar coming. And for the sweater, this is how far I've gotten. So this is the V-back tee. And I started at one end, at the top, and I'm just going through the minis as I go. And I think it looks a bit short, but I actually knitted a couple of centimeters longer than the pattern says before I started the short rows in the back. So I must say I'm not sure about how long it's going to get, but it's superwash so it stretches. The sleeves, you're supposed to knit more on the sleeves, and these are the colors I have left. This is the one I'm working on, and these are the two last colors. And I was hoping I could manage get the body done and not use a different yarn at the bottom, but I'm not sure because it looks so short. So I think I'm going to continue at the bottom with a different yarn, and I'll use the same yarn to knit the sleeves. They're not long, but I need to have a little more sleeve than this. So I'm going through my stash to find a yarn that works at the bottom and on the end of the sleeves. And I don't think I want to use a solid because everything else is so beautifully speckled. So I want to use a speckled yarn at the bottom. So a neutral with speckles, maybe a pink with speckles. We'll see what I find in my stash. Worst case scenario, I have to dye up a skein. But I really would like to find something in stash because me dyeing up yarn myself, that's not destashing, and I want to do some destashing this year. I keep buying yarn though, so. And the needle holder, the beautiful needle holder that really matches the sweater perfectly. It's from Yarn and Craft. And trying to focus on it, that's not easy, but it's really beautiful. So that's what holding the needles together. So this is, I've been monogamous on this project ever since I cast it on. So my Night Forest hasn't been worked on, and neither has my Ripple cardigan by Joji Locatelli, so that's why I'm not showing you that one today, because I haven't worked on it for the last 2 weeks. But that is the next project I'm picking up. The Night Forest will have to wait, because I'm going to concentrate on short-sleeved projects, because we're coming into that season now. So I'm going to finish this first, and then I'm going to pick up the Ripple Lake cardigan again, I think, because I've gotten another book in the mail, and it's this one. And I knew from the start when I heard about this book that I wanted it, because I'm a big fan of Jacqueline Sislak's patterns. I have knit both the Rift a couple of times, and I've also knit the Ursa 2 times. And what I love about this book is that it says on the front, it's a capsule collection. There are a few patterns in here, base patterns, and then there are different modifications to make. The sweater is called Darren, and you can do it all sorts of ways. You can make a vest, and you can make a cardigan, short-sleeved t-shirt, and a long-sleeved sweater. And this is the one I'm knitting, the short-sleeved option, cropped short-sleeved option. And I've ordered yarn for it. I've ordered a cotton acrylic blend, not the same yarn as this, but a different yarn. And as I said, it's a cotton acrylic blend. Pure cotton is also really nice for garments, but there's something about the acrylic cotton blend that I think it's softer. Usually I steer clear of acrylic, but sometimes I really want to use. I tried using pure cotton, and Pima cotton might be really soft, but I have to consider my yarn budget as well, and so I bought a commercial cotton acrylic blend. And it's in a dusty pink, because I love wearing pastels in summer. And I'm also going to knit the cardigan version, and probably also the long sleeved sweater, because as I said, I love her patterns. And I know vests are big at the moment, so perhaps a vest would be nice to have when it starts getting colder again. So I might knit the vest after the t-shirt. We'll see. But that's the next sweater on my needles. It's the Darren sweater from Jacqueline Sislak's Embody. And I ordered you could choose between just the paper version, or paper and digital, or just digital. But I paid a bit extra to get the book. I also have the digital files, of course. That's what I'm using when I knit, because I use Knit Companion, so I use the digital version when I knit. But I wanted the book. Because I wanted to be able to just flip through it and see all the beautiful pictures. And I actually feel like getting my sewing machine out of hibernation, because I love the sewing patterns as well. So I might take my sewing machine out of hibernation, giving it a good clean, and perhaps trying. I went to school to learn how to make clothes, even from my own designs. So I should be able to sew some clothes, but I haven't. I don't think it's like riding a bike. I think if you haven't touched a sewing machine in years, you perhaps need. It's going to be some trial and error, I'm afraid. Trouble speaking today. Maybe that's because of the heat. My brain is a bit fried, perhaps. So that's both those books have come in the mail since the last time I spoke to you. And I can show you the last thing that came in the mail before we start talking about the fiber festival I'm going to participate in, and the knit longs and everything like that. So this is some yarn I got in the mail from West Yorkshire Spinners. This is one of my favorite commercial sock yarns. It's the signature 4-ply, and these are the colors Summer Sunset, and this is Kingfisher. And it's a good workhorse yarn, and it's a really good yarn to have in stash for socks. I have a lot of hand-dyed self-striping as well, or not a lot, but I have quite a few skeins of self-striping, hand-dyed self-striping. But I'm kind of, when I knit gift socks and socks to sell, I like using commercial yarn, because not everybody knows how to treat hand-dyed yarn. And normally if you get a pair of hand-knitted superwash socks, your instinct is to throw them in the washing machine. At a wool setting, of course. But not all hand-dyed yarns tackle that. I have knit socks with hand-dyed yarn that have faded a lot when you wash them in the machine, so I stopped doing that. Okay, so the socks doesn't felt, but the colors might fade a lot. So I never wash my hand-dyed socks in the machine. So that's all that come in the mail. I'm waiting for a lot of stuff, so there will probably be quite a lot to show you in the next episode, I hope, because as I said, I'm waiting for a lot of stuff. So that's the end of the knitting. That was really quickly done. So if you're only here for the knitting, nice to see you. And for the rest of you, we're going to talk Fiber Festival. The online international Fiber Festival that starts May 1st. I've mentioned this before and now I have a few more details for you. The festival starts May 1st and because it's international, it starts in the evening on April 31st. Wait a minute. April 30th. Sorry. It starts April 30th in the evening in the US. For Central European Standard Time or summertime, it's 8:30 a.m. May 1st. So that's when it kicks off. I have a coupon code for the festival and I also have donated the giveaway prize for the festival. I have contributed with a video for the cultural part of the festival, and Norway is the feature of day 3 in the festival. But my shop will of course be open as it always is, all through the festival, and the coupon code will be valid all throughout the festival. And I recommend that you follow the Fiber Festival on Instagram. I'm putting both the Instagram account and the hashtag down here. And there is a website for the festival. It's still showing the last festival in November, but one of these days the new website will be up, and that's also something that they will announce on their Instagram account, so please follow the festival there. I haven't dyed up any specific colorway for the festival, but as I said, I have a coupon code and I have also donated a giveaway prize for the festival. So that was the details I have about the Fiber Festival as we speak, but it's not. I have 2 more weeks. The festival doesn't start until after my next podcast, so I'll give you the full details then. I'm also going to talk a bit about plans that I have for the shop. It's Advent season. It feels strange talking about Advent calendars in April, but that's the nature of it. If you're going to make and sell an Advent calendar, you have to start early. And I'm going to do an Advent calendar, but not the traditional 24 miniskein Advent calendar. I'm going to base my Advent calendar on the Norwegian tradition of marking the Sundays in Advent, the 1st, 2nd, 3rd and 4th Sunday of Advent. And the Advent calendar will consist of 4 50-gram miniskeins, 1 for each Sunday in Advent. And there will also be a Christmas Eve cast-on box where I will be collaborating with other makers. So there will be a bag and progress keeper with that. And if you like to place an order for the entire thing, you can do that, because that will be an option when you order the advent calendar. So you can either order only the 450 gram skeins, only the Christmas Eve cast on, or you can order everything as one package. And I'm going to put up these advents May 1st, and I'm doing it that early because I have to order the yarn after so I'm going to put them up May 1st, and they're only going to be possible to buy for a month. I'm taking it down June 1st, and then I'm going to start ordering yarn, dyeing yarn, and everything. So May 1st I'm going to put up the advent calendars in my Etsy shop. So that's the plans for the shop. So no more mystery skeins, but I'm going to put up an advent May 1st. And that's all I had to talk about in this part about the shop. So all that remains is to show you the tiny bits I actually dyed for the shop. And it's not a lot, but there are 2 new colorways this time. This is not a new colorway. It's fairly new, but it's my grape fizz. But this is what it looks like when it's dyed on grey Polldale. So this is 85% Polldale, 15% black nylon. That's what makes it grey. So that's grape fizz on grey Polldale. And I've dyed up Eton Mess on fine merino sock. It's a really, really pale pink, peachy pink with speckles. And because of the festival, I decided I had to dye up some Arctic Spring. So this is Arctic Spring on Polldale and on XR Merino DK. And this is got nylon in it. It's 80% Polldale and 20% nylon. And so for the 2 new colorways, this is on Polldale. It's blue with a bit of purple, and this is called Rhapsody in Blue. And as I said, this is on Polldale. The other new colorway I have dyed up on Corriedale, and it's yellow and orange with a tiny bit of green. My plan was to call it Daffodil, but I liked it so much that I decided Daffodil was too seasonal, and I wanted to have this in the shop year round. So I'm calling it Lady Marmalade. And that's this. And that is coming to the shop on Corriedale to begin with. And that was the shop update. And just as well that this podcast, that I'm not talking for too long, because I had started with the Easter vlog and I haven't got a lot to show you. So hopefully I'll have a few happy mail days until my next podcast, so I have more to show you. So until the next time, I hope you're staying healthy, I hope you're staying safe, and I'll see you later.